Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new edition of the Guys Talking About Shit podcast, being recorded on Super Bowl Sunday, February 4th, 2018. I'm joined by the always deceptive Adam Miller.
Wow. Okay.
Adam,
I was going to say something about, who gives a fuck about the Super Bowl, but...
Well, I don't give a fuck about the Super Bowl.
I don't think anybody in the city of Pittsburgh does, unless of course the Eagles beat the Patriots, and then we'll care.
Yeah,
which is probably not going to happen.
I don't know. A lot of people were kind of siding with the Eagles. The Eagles are coming out ferocious. They got something to prove. I don't think they've won. I don't know if they've ever won a Super Bowl, or if they have, they haven't won one in a long time. So,
yeah, but
either way, Adam. We've got some topics, and to be honest, they're kind of a, how did you describe it?
I said let's ride the angry train.
Yeah, the angry train. We were deciding on how we wanted to position a lot of these episodes, or not episodes, but these segments.
The talking points, yeah.
The talking points, and we just noticed that a lot of these aren't very, positive.
Exciting. Yeah, they're not positive and exciting.
They're more, a lot of them are just a lot of shitty things going on that we just have I have a lot of opinions about. We'll see what Adam actually has to say. But so let's just start off fresh and and dive into this, because I was talking with you a little earlier about it.
Yeah.
And it's something that really pisses me off, and I wanted to kind of get your take a little bit more on the record about it. And it is the Quentin Tarantino, Harvey Weinstein, Uma Thurman relationship during the production of Kill Bill 1 and 2. And to me, this all came out with Uma Thurman doing a New York Times article, and it's titled, "This is Why Uma Thurman is Angry." And it goes into this long, very drawn out story of just probably 2 to 3 years worth of hell that Uma Thurman was going through. She didn't say that the whole production was like this, but she says there were certain instances that occurred with her being sexually assaulted by Harvey Weinstein, but surprise, surprise, that he assaulted another woman.
No surprise there.
And so we were kind of I was like, oh wow, it's another story about how she was assaulted by Harvey Weinstein. But then as I got further and further, starts talking about her relationship, how it used to be really buddy-buddy with Quentin Tarantino, and then it kind of just fell apart towards the tail end of making Kill Bill Volume 2. And that was the thing that I was just furious about, because I don't think a lot of people are talking about this in the way that they should, because a lot of the articles I see are not talking about the Quentin Tarantino part. They're mostly just saying, Harvey Weinstein, another sexual assault case against Harvey Weinstein. Now this one's with Uma Thurman.
But this story basically goes against what Quentin Tarantino had to say about his experience with Miramax and Harvey Weinstein.
Yes.
Previously, which I do think we did talk about on the show.
Yes, we
talked about him disowning Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah, when the whole entire allegation started coming out against Harvey Weinstein, I remember it was Quentin Tarantino being one of the first people to be like,
fuck this guy.
Fuck this company, fuck this guy, I'm out.
Yeah.
And this article and Uma Thurman's kind of interview that she did kind of twists that around as being more damage control than actual...
a legitimate point of view.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was because that when he said that, then it was his whole thing was, I didn't know this stuff was going on, and now that I do, I'm not working with these people anymore. And it appears from Uma Thurman's story that he's known about this for quite some time.
Yeah, it's because I don't want to go into the whole article. The whole entire article is quite long, but mostly it just talks about that Harvey Weinstein, and she said the classic robe, where he has the robe with nothing under it, came out of the bathroom and started showing her stuff that she didn't want, and that eventually she had to kind of push him off and be like, what the fuck are you doing? Get the fuck off me. And that she immediately went to Quentin Tarantino about it, And Quentin Tarantino kind of was like, oh, he's a weirdo, but he's harmless type of thing. But then apparently Quentin Tarantino confronted Harvey Weinstein about it. But nothing really kind of occurred from it.
Yeah.
And then...
Which, I mean, that point right there where he goes and confronts Weinstein, that means that he was fully aware of what was going on. He wouldn't have gone there to confront him about it if he wasn't aware of what was going on.
Yeah.
That's what knocks down the point that he made previously a couple months ago.
Then there was that, and then then there was another point where Uma Thurman says that she eventually was still being like, nothing as severe as the first time, but still was kind of being like really anxious and weird around Harvey Weinstein. And
because he's a creep.
Yeah.
And she didn't, I mean, anytime that you... I mean, I'm not speaking from experience, but just from like knowledge of psychology. Anytime that you're abused or anything like that, normally if you're ever stuck in that situation, even if nothing's going to happen,
yeah, she's stuck with this guy for months because
you feel like it's going to happen again, whether it does or it doesn't.
Mm-hmm. But she pretty much like straight up told Harvey Weinstein that you keep doing this shit, like you're done. I mean, it's gonna get out, like.
And it has.
I'm not. Yeah, and look at it. Look at it. It took 15 years of this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, how many years was he doing it before?
Before then, yeah.
Awful. But she pretty much said your career's going to end if you keep doing this shit. And then he pretty much was like, well, I have the power to end your career if I want to. So you're gonna kind of shut the hell up about this.
Yeah.
Then she apparently went to Quentin Tarantino again, and Quentin Tarantino didn't really do anything about it. So there's that little small part that Quentin Tarantino didn't really. To be honest, I attribute this almost to like the Joe Paterno and the what was that fucking asshole's name from Penn State?
Oh, jeez. Jerry Sandusky.
Mm-hmm. Where people were telling him, and then apparently he was going and saying like, "Hey, what are you doing? This shit's not cool." And this shit's wrong. You can't be doing this.
Yeah, Joe Paterno went to people at Penn State, but he never went public with those accusations, which is kind of the situation that Quentin Tarantino's in. That doesn't mean that I think that Joe Paterno or Quentin Tarantino did the right thing in this situation. I think they should have gone public in both cases.
Yeah, and it's just awful, and I just think that, yeah, what the fuck is Quentin Tarantino doing when he's making this female empowerment movie? That's what he constantly would talk about, how this is a female empowerment movie, Kill Bill, which I love Kill Bill 1 and 2.
I'm not a big fan of this film anyway.
I think... Of his films or just...
No, just Kill Bill.
Just Kill Bill. I love Kill Bill 1 and 2, but it really does kind of change it a little bit. I mean, I'm still able to separate art from the artist in a way, but... So then there's that. This whole entire, like, sexual abuse scandal that Quentin Tarantino didn't really do much shit about. He just kind of... Because he was kind of buddy-buddy with Harvey Weinstein while he was making all these movies.
Harvey Weinstein made his career. I mean, almost all the movies that he has been in or has filmed have been produced by Miramax.
Mm-hmm. And then what happened was this whole car crash scene. There's a scene in Kill Bill Volume 2 where she is in this blue convertible, this really old-looking blue convertible, driving down this dirt road really fast, and it's a cool-looking scene. But then now I'm finding out the background of it, which was that Quentin Tarantino forced Uma Thurman to do this scene.
Which, according to the recommendations of everybody else who was working on the film, suggested that a stunt person do it.
Because
her face was not going to be visible anyway.
No, her face was not going to be visible. It was all just it was a car with a camera mounted to the back of it, and that
they wanted her to drive 40 miles an hour so that her hair would blow in the wind properly.
And there was that, and she didn't feel safe in this car. She constantly said, like,
I'm not a stunt driver.
I'm not a stunt driver. I don't think I can do this. I don't want to do this. This scares me. This car, like, whenever you think of Uma Thurman, you kind of think that, I don't know why. I just always attribute her as a badass, mostly because of Kill Bill. But you realize that she is just a person.
Yeah, everybody in these films is just a person.
Yeah,
every
and
actor.
So what happened was she told Quentin Tarantino that I don't want to do this film. this scene, not this.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this specific scene myself. Can you please get a stunt driver? People are telling me this car doesn't feel safe. I don't feel safe. And Quentin Tarantino was pissed. And she said, like most directors would be if you said no to them. But he said, look, I promise it's safe. You're going to be okay. But the thing is, I need you to at least do 40 miles an hour in this car so that your hair looks right, or else I'm just going to make you do it again. And she just kept constantly saying it. And because her friendship with Quentin Tarantino, I guess she didn't demand it. Like, she could have, I'm sure, said, I demand that I don't do this stunt.
Well, she ended up doing it, one, because she felt pressured, and two, because she did, at the time, trust him to some degree.
Yeah. And it turns out that she wrecked it. There was old articles about how there was a crash on set and that Uma Thurman had to go to the hospital during the time.
Yeah.
But nothing was really there was no pictures, there was nothing. It just kind of said, I think they might have shown the car.
Yeah.
And so she said, I want to see the footage. This is back when it happened. Yeah. I want to see the footage of the car, of the crash.
Yeah.
And they refused to let her see it. And this is this like goofy cover-up of Quentin Tarantino to try and hide that he pretty much forced the actor into this dangerous situation. And that's not the job of the director. The job of the director is to get the best performance out of the actor and the scenes, not to put your actors in danger doing so, especially at the time that Uma Thurman considered him a good friend. And when this crash happened, she wanted to see it. They said no. And then eventually, all right, we'll let you see it, but you have to pretty much sign a waiver that says you're not going to use this against us. And she said, no, fuck no. No, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm not quoting her, but she said no.
But that would be stupid from a legal standpoint.
Legal standpoint, that'd be stupid.
Yeah.
And so then after the car crash, and this is like what's the most heartbreaking thing. I want to see if I have the article, but I wonder if I can find the exact quote. Because after the car crash, she says that she got this kind of like crappy apology from Quentin Tarantino. She said, I think half-assed apology. And I think she got one from Weinstein too, saying we're sorry we put this in there. And the best part about it was Ethan Hawke, who was married to her at the time, like kind of went in and he went up to Quentin Tarantino and pretty much he told her in a like serious pissed off manner that he let Uma down as a director and a friend. And this is like, she's a great actress. She's not a stunt driver. And you know that. And he was really upset with him. And this is what Quentin Tarantino said. I'm sorry. And I'm asking for your forgiveness. And it just, this is what the actual article says. 2 weeks after the crash, after trying to see the car and footage of the incident, she had her lawyer send a letter to Miramax summarizing the event and reserving the right to sue. Miramax offered to show her the footage if she signed a document releasing them of any consequences of my future pain and suffering. She says she didn't. And she said she had fucked up knees. Like, this is just fucked up. This is, like, heartbreaking. But the thing is that she said that throughout the whole entire thing, after not only just the Harvey Weinstein accusation that she told Quentin about, but then after the thing with the car crash, she said that she went as like a co-maker of the movie and being involved in the creative process to feeling like a broken tool. Yeah. Like, and I just think that, and then you can see that Uma Thurman should have blown up after that movie. That movie was big, but she really didn't. Yeah. She never really made it out of that.
Like, the next thing I remember happening after that is Batman and Robin. Was that the next thing that she was in after that?
I thought Batman and Robin was after Kill Bill.
That's what I mean. After Kill Bill.
Oh, no. I mean, sorry. I thought
it was before.
Yeah, I don't know. Batman and Robin I thought was in like 97. I could be wrong.
I mean, I could be wrong.
I'm almost positive Batman and Robin.
Just look up on
1997 was Batman and Robin, and I think Kill Bill was like in 2000s,
yeah.
like 2003 or something like that.
Yeah, you're right.
Am I right? Oh, I'm so good. 2003.
But when was her next like big name project after that?
After
Kill Bill 2.
Let's see. I think it was like My Super Ex-Girlfriend.
which is a nothing project.
Yeah, that movie.
When was that? How many years went
sucked.
past before she had another job?
Let's see. Nothing as big as that. I'll tell you that much. Kill Bill. She did a movie called Be Cool. She did a movie called Prime, which I think Prime was like. She did The Producers. Movie called Mother. Nothing that reached that level of success. At least that I would say. I don't see anything.
Producers is pretty big though.
Yeah,
That's a pretty big job.
Yeah, I know, but she was. I don't know. She just never really got to that level of stardom because she was really talented. It just never really.
Never really took off for her. After that point, I was just wondering if like there's evidence to show that she was like blackballed.
No, I don't think she was blackballed. I just don't think she ever. I mean, either the movie was so big that she never reached to that level again, or she just got crappier roles. I don't know. I hope to God she wasn't blackballed. That'd be awful. I don't think Quentin Tarantino had any involvement with that, but it seemed like after Kill Bill, their relationship just crumbled.
Yeah, I would say that. I wouldn't say that Quentin Tarantino would go out of his way to ruin her career, but Harvey Weinstein.
But he never put her back in another movie.
Yeah, I say that's probably more personal than it is.
Yeah,
like trying to ruin her career.
No, I don't. Yeah, as I said, I don't.
And
think
that might have been two-sided or even all her decision.
Possible. Yeah, she might not.
I mean, why would you want to work with somebody that put your life at risk and wasn't really backing you up when you said that you'd been sexually assaulted or?
Yeah, it's.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want to work with that person anymore.
Harvey Weinstein assaulted me, but that didn't kill me, she says. What really got me about the crash was that it was a cheap shot. I had been through so many rings of fire by that point. I had really always felt a connection to the greater good in my work with Quentin, and most of what I allowed to happen to me and what I participated in was kind of like a horrible mud wrestle with a very angry brother. But at least I had some say, you know. This goes into the part about people where she was being like spit on and like choked by Quentin Tarantino. Like she had an involvement with it. She knew that it was going to happen.
Yeah.
She didn't feel disempowered by any of it
until
she didn't feel disempowered by it. She kind of thought like, okay, this is part of the movie, but I don't feel like crappy about it. But once the crash happened is when she's like, you know what? Was I a creative partner or was I just being used? Was I just being used by a friend?
Yeah.
And it said, personally, this is the last thing that she said. It was, personally, it has taken me 47 years to stop calling people who are mean to you in love with you. It took a long time because I think that as little girls, we are conditioned to believe that cruelty and love somehow have a connection, and that is like the sort of era that we need to evolve out of. Yes.
That makes sense.
That's perfect. Mm-hmm. That's what should happen. And we need to get the fuck out of this thing. And so that's pretty much like that whole story with Uma Thurman. And now this is kind of coming out that a couple other actors, actresses, and directors are kind of saying, this is bullshit, Quentin Tarantino. What the hell's up with this?
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're trying to, I don't think they're trying to ruin Quentin Tarantino, but Jessica Chastain is like tweeting nonstop about how awful this is. And I think Jessica Chastain looks up to Uma Thurman. Then there's people like Judd Apatow who is kind of saying like this is fucked up because there are other allegations that Harvey Weinstein was sexually assaulting people on the set and you did nothing. Like clearly you had to have known something about this.
Yeah, and you claimed earlier that you didn't.
And so I think that's kind of we're gonna see how Quentin Tarantino bounces back from this. But you made a good statement earlier before the show started that. You don't think that
Star Trek movie is going to happen now?
He's going to get a little bit of shit. This is not probably going to blow over as well as I hope it. Like, I hope this doesn't blow over. I think.
I also you mentioned something about him making a movie about Roman Polanski.
He's making a movie about not about the murders, the Charles Manson murders, but set in the time period, and that's the backdrop of it with like Roman Polanski and Sharon Tate being played by like Margot Robbie, and
it's just stuff that's happening in that time period. It's like the big things that are happening, like Roman Polanski being outed as a pedophile.
No, Roman Polanski's wife was murdered by the Manson family. Sharon Tate was murdered by the Manson cult.
What?
And so it's...
Am I thinking of the right guy? Is Roman Polanski the guy that moved to France or something?
Yeah, Roman Polanski was the guy who raped and sodomized a 13-year-old girl and then fled like a little girl. He fled to France to avoid prosecution. But that was way down the line.
That was after this.
Yeah, that was, I think, in either the early 80s or the late 80s, early 90s, the whole Roman Polanski, like, the little girl bullshit.
Yeah.
But he's making the film about Roman Polanski because Roman Polanski was very involved with the Charles Manson murder because his pregnant wife was murdered by the Manson cult.
I didn't know that.
Sharon Tate was his wife.
I didn't know that it was Sharon Tate who was murdered.
Yeah, Sharon Tate was put in a couple of... they were married, and she was put in a couple of Roman Polanski's early films, and Roman Polanski has had a shitty life. Half of the shitty life, though, was because of his own doing.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he was a Holocaust survivor. His wife was murdered really young with their child. And it just, by the Manson family, it was awful. The movie's not about
him.
But Roman Polanski has an involvement in that story, I'm assuming. I just think that when I read this, I wanted to talk about this just because I think it's something that deserves to be talked about. And I think that Quentin Tarantino deserves to be held somewhat accountable for this bullshit that was going on. And him just sitting there saying, all my proceeds of the next film part of my proceeds are going to go to this and this and this. I'm separating myself from Harvey Weinstein. I had no idea that this shit was going on. Clearly that was bullshit. And that was just...
Well, I don't think the charitable donations were bullshit, but
no, I don't think that was
knowing anything.
Him not knowing anything is
bullshit.
Him just doing a PR spin and trying to do some damage control before something really fucked up happened to him and he started getting roped into it. I don't think he's like one of those people that was sending people to Harvey Weinstein to get like molested and fucking assaulted by him. I don't believe that, but I do believe that you had some involvement. You clearly knew that something was going on, and I think that you should be held somewhat accountable. I'm not saying ruin Quentin Tarantino's career. I fucking love Quentin Tarantino, but this is rough for me to say, and I don't think as a person you should force anybody to do anything they don't want to do, especially whenever she was being told by multiple people that this was not a situation that she should have been driving in. So... that's my 2 cents. Do you have anything else you want to add about that, Adam?
No, I mean, that's all basically how I feel about it as well.
That fucking pisses me off really, really bad. I felt terrible. And Uma Thurman's not like my favorite actress of all time, but I read that whole article and I just was like it felt like getting hit in the gut. It just was really rough to do.
Yeah, you said that's in the New York Times she posted that?
New York Times
and
article.
She wrote it herself?
She didn't write it, but she was being interviewed, so it's almost the whole thing is being quoted by her.
Well, I was wondering, because, like, if you went on Google or DuckDuckGo, whatever you fucking use.
Yeah, you can
and
look
just
up,
Google New York Times, Uma Thurman.
You can type in just Uma Thurman and it'll come up. But the title of the article is This is why Uma Thurman is so angry, but it's by New York Times. That's where I think that's the best one, because that goes into all the details of the Quentin Tarantino stuff, the Harvey Weinstein stuff, because if you type in Uma Thurman, some of them you only get the part about one or the other. But this has the whole story, so I think the New York Times article is the one you should be checking out. Okay, Adam, let's get off of that subject.
But the angry train is still rolling.
But it is still rolling. And this one's going to be tough for me. Specifically, and I feel like this is really my TMNT. I feel like really shitty going from a serious to like
something less serious.
But
we're gonna go back to serious.
We'll go back to serious afterwards. But I just let's get this out of the way. Adam, last fall Nickelodeon announced that they were going to be canceling their current run of the TMNT Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles TV show.
You actually really like that.
I love it. And
I don't like how it looks, but from what I hear from you and from other sources, it's written really well.
It's written so well, and this isn't a popular opinion. I think it's better than the original show.
Wow.
It's that good. you can't beat the classic of it, but as a story, it's all one giant story, essentially, with, little random episodes thrown in between. But it's all this giant story. The turtles are written so well. Their personalities are perfect. The animation gets jarring at first, and it is weird to get used to.
Well, I just have like an anti-CG thing anyway, so.
Well, let's see what you think about this. Because they are getting rid of that, and this year they will be doing a new show called Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And
I already don't like it.
They released the images, which I'll be posting at the bottom of the screen here. Should be around this area. Of these individual images. And so I'll just be flipping my laptop over, show Adam each one, and I want to see what he thinks, because I sent you a picture of the whole big scene.
Yeah,
but I want to go through each one, and I want to see what you think. So Adam, the first one we have is of the new Leonardo image. What's your thoughts on that?
It's really lazily designed. It's purposely, you can tell that it's made to be simple to animate.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't look good at all.
See, if you're gonna ask me, I think I don't like the image, but at the same time, I don't have a problem necessarily with the Leonardo one. I think Leo looks okay. I mean, if they went through this style,
I'm just saying, like, from an art design standpoint, it just looks lazy.
Yeah, I don't really like the sharpness of it.
Yeah, it looks like just the typical shit that they do now all the time and just animate with a computer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it almost looks like high quality Flash animation from like the mid 2000s decade.
So, yeah, Leonardo, I think actually Leo looks okay. Personally,
I disagree.
Okay, well, you can disagree. That's fine. I'm just going off of what I think of each one. Now, next to the next one, I got problems with. And it's our Raphael design. So Raphael pops up right here.
Okay.
What's the first thing you notice?
He's using Tonfa instead of Sai.
What the fuck?
Also, his shell looks totally fucked up.
But they had in the animated one, he has like a cracked shell. But I'm going to get into it once we get through these character designs, what I have my biggest problem with.
It just looks like a shitty design that they like.
This
the
design
typical garbage that they do.
This looks
for
like
a
what they did
show.
with Knuckles from Sonic, and they decided to make
Sonic
them all like
Boom,
yeah,
or whatever that's called,
like,
Sonic Rise of Lyric or so whatever.
Yeah, Sonic Boom, Rise of Lyrics. I am not happy with the fact that they decided to go with Tonfas instead of Sais. Why would you get rid of his? Raphael is so cool because of Sais. Sais are awesome. Why the fuck would you switch it to Tonfas? That's so stupid. All right, Jesus. Oh, that's awful. Ugh. Now we're gonna go on to Donatello.
Also, no, I'm absolutely not. What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Is that? Okay, so he has like a cone-shaped staff that has like a grapple hook.
Yeah, it looks like it might have a grapple hook in it, and it's like.
Yeah, no, it looks like fucking shit. Like, I'm telling you, they all just look like really lazy,
we haven't gotten
boring
to the worst
ass
one.
kid show designs. Oh, is it Mike?
No, Mikey actually I think looks the best. This is Michelangelo. I actually think that Mikey looks the best out of all the redesigns.
He still looks fucking terrible. They don't even look. Like, the only reason that I know that it's a Ninja Turtle is because I already knew what the Ninja Turtles were.
He looks like he's got... He doesn't even have nunchucks anymore. He's got, like, a yo-yo stick.
Yeah, fuck this shit.
It looks terrible.
What's next?
Well, we got the redesign of April O'Neil. Which, it doesn't really remind me anything like April O'Neil at all.
One, she's wearing glasses. Two, she has a ghost bat.
I know what's up with that ghost bat.
Three, she's wearing a green jacket. She's always been yellow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really care about the racial change. It really doesn't bother me that much.
No, I don't give a fuck about the racial change. I got the problem with, like, she looks like a librarian.
Yeah.
I mean, she doesn't need to be a reporter. In the new show, she's not a reporter. She's just a teenager. I think that they did such a good job with the April O'Neil character. I think, as I said, I think it's the best version of April O'Neil that we've ever got. I just think that I don't really get this whole design. She's wearing yellow, but she's wearing this goofy sports jacket.
It's green. Where'd the ghost bat come from?
I don't know where the ghost
When did
bats-
April ever fight?
She fights in the new show. She actually starts kind of like training under Master Splinter for a little bit, and she
drives
kind
the
of gets
turtle
like
van.
psychic powers in the new show, which I thought was weird, but it works a little bit. It works a little better.
You say so.
Yeah, you gotta trust me, man. I'm telling you
Okay.
that
What else is there? What else?
Splinter.
Just do it.
Oh, Splinter.
What the fuck? That looks like something out of Ren and Stimpy. That doesn't even match the rest of the designs.
He looks like a fat rat. He looks like a fat guinea pig more than a rat. What the fuck is that? Am I looking at?
All right.
He looks like he's about to take a shit.
So if you could think of an overweight rat. Oh, I guess you're gonna show it anyways. But I'm gonna describe it. An overweight, like diminutive rat that has like super racist Asian features and facial hair. That would be what this new Splinter looks like. It looks like shit, and it doesn't even match the rest of the designs.
It's so weird. It doesn't work at all. Like, none of these pictures look good. They don't. And then, obviously, we'll show the one that they released, the full them all together. The whole them together image. Colorful. I will give you that it's very colorful looking.
Yeah, but it's not good color. It's that shitty, like, muted neon purple, muted neon pinky red, muted, neon blue, and then fucking just like gold Super Saiyan.
Why is April O'Neil riding Donatello? Like she's riding Donatello's back.
She has like a hover bike with 4 hover lifty things, and
like
then it's attached to his shoulders. It doesn't make any sense. Oh God.
Obviously, these are just the designs.
And I'm not trying to be gatekeepy, but like, there's some things that don't need to be changed that much to apply to the modern context for children.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this, none of these design choices make sense to apply to the interest of the modern child.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like there's other adaptations they've done of this kind of shit that work better.
Oh, okay.
I think this makes Teen Titans Go look good.
Oh, those are some throwing. That's throwing shade. Ooh, but I'm not gonna completely say I disagree with you. It looks bad. So here, let's go with the. Okay, so we got the images. I do not like the images at all.
I think they look shit.
I think they look pretty bad.
Who's writing the show?
I believe it's Ben Schwartz.
Is that who wrote the last show?
The fact that Ben Schwartz, who also votes to join reboot, will be joining the second famous. Oh no, I don't know who's. It doesn't say exactly. I think it's like a lot of the people who might have had involvement with the DuckTales reboot, but the DuckTales reboot is supposed to be great, like really good. Now, let's just go into that. I don't like the designs, but I will go into some details about the show. Now, I'm gonna watch the show because. At the same time,
you know what this
to be
reminds me
fair,
of?
I shit on the original. I shit on the 2012 version images too. I wrote it off as some kiddie shitty show, but it's not a kiddie shitty show. It's actually a really good show.
But you know what those designs remind me of? Do you remember hearing that there was going to be a Mighty Ducks cartoon? And then you watched it, and it was like not really that great.
The one where they were superheroes?
The one where they were humanoid ducks fighting crime.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, this is what? When did this happen in the movie? This never happened.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. I understand you want to make some changes, but Raph and Donatello look like shit, and April O'Neil's design doesn't look too great. But whatever. I don't really care that much about April O'Neil, but Leo and Mikey, I think, are okay looking. But
no, I disagree.
Like,
okay, so they give everybody else a really angular look, and then Mikey just looks circular as fuck, and then Splinter just looks like a wad of chewed bubblegum. Like, it literally looks like something out of Ren and Stimpy, but with thick black outline.
It's like the Turtles. We've never seen them before. Yeah. It's like we've never seen...
They look like shit.
But as I said, I did shit on the redesigns of the CG one, and I changed my tune. So I'm gonna watch the show. I have to. But so let's go into some changes that they've made. Leonardo is no longer the leader. Raphael is now the leader. And you just took Leonardo's only interesting trait and threw it away.
Well, like, not only that, Raphael's whole character is built around the character dynamic of butting heads with Leonardo all the time.
Yes. And he still looks like he's going to be the angry guy. And I know Raphael is a lot of people's favorite turtle. He's my favorite turtle, too. I think I have him right here. Yeah, there's good old Raph. But, yeah, a big part of his character is that he doesn't like being bossed around by Leonardo. And he's too hot-headed to lead, is what Splinter and Leonardo always say to him. You're too hot-headed. So now they've made him the leader.
It already doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make much sense to me. It already
destroys character dynamic that has existed for centuries.
Yeah, I mean, it destroys the fact that he has fucking tonfas oversized. But, okay, whatever. They're both defensive weapons anyway. But, okay. So, they are also, this is the part that might actually piss me off the most that no one seems to want to talk about, is how they are, all four of them are different species of turtles. How the fuck are you brothers if you're all different species? You're just not even step, you're just orphaned, joined together brotherhood?
Yeah, well, I mean, they're adopted. They're all adopted by...
But in the show,
it doesn't make any sense.
But in the show, they've always been the same turtle.
What?
They've been the same turtle species all the time.
Donatello always was a different color than the rest of them.
No, they have different shades, but all turtles have different shades to them. But they were all the same turtle. They literally went out of their way to say that they are all different species of turtles.
Which doesn't make any sense.
What? Yeah.
So let's just examine that. I don't know if you know the turtle origin story about how it kind of connects to Daredevil a little bit.
Yeah, how it's all parody of Daredevil was how TMNT was how it was even started because the hand, Daredevil, the foot, the blind kid who drops, like pushes an old man out of the way, and then a radioactive thing falls on turtles. Like they say that Daredevil kind of caused the turtles to exist.
Yeah,
all placed in New York. Yeah,
but so you're telling me that 4 completely randomly separate species of turtle are converged at this one point in the New York sewer system, next to a random ass rat, when a blind kid pushes an old man out of the way, causing a truck to wreck, spilling the ooze into the fucking sewer system.
You're just saying exactly what I'm thinking.
Like, the suspension of disbelief crossed the line when you say 4 different random species of turtles just meet up to hang out.
We have 4 giant walking human teenage turtles. Do you know what
yeah, but I'm saying, like, you can only push suspension of disbelief so far because...
I wish this water bottle was alcohol. How pissed off I'm getting about this. So, here's the other problem I have. Ready to go for this bullshit?
Yeah.
How much you want to bet? I'm going to put over or under 60%. I will put over 60% that they go the Street Sharks route.
What do you mean?
That they are not turtles that turn into teens. They are teens that turn into turtles. How much you want to bet that? That's the only way you can explain that they're brothers. And I would not be surprised if they're going to do some reinvention bullshit that they're teens that get turned into turtles.
Yeah, I'm not interested. I'm not interested in this at all.
What do you think? Over or under 60%? No, I think that's the route they'll go.
Now that you say that, that makes total sense that that's what they would do with it. And, no. I'm not interested.
I still don't understand how the fuck Splinter looks like. Looks like you stuck a Yoda puppet into a fucking oven. That's what he looks like. Yeah. And then they just threw some really like Asian features, like Asian hairstyles onto this melted puppet.
Yeah, they give him like a really racist like samurai top knot, and fucking like a racist Asian mustache, Asian beard, Asian eyes. It's like.
Yeah, they're like really tiny too. Like he looks angry, so he might be just squinting really weird. But
maybe he's trying to take a shit.
I'm really nervous about this show. I don't know.
Bad. It looks really fucking bad.
I don't know if the backlash of this. I don't know if there is a real backlash or if it's just me being real pissed off.
I think most of the people that were into the Turtles don't fucking care anymore.
Some people. First comment says looks good, fresh. Starts are a dime a dozen these days, but it's the whole other topic. I'm interested in the choice to make April O'Neil black. Not that she is black, rather the seemingly arbitrary choice to reboot her character as a different race. With so many other options that could challenge the writers and show's kids' diversity in storytelling, why not make her physically disabled, LGBT, or Muslim? Blah, blah, blah. Again, not saying she shouldn't be black, but it just feels like it's too easy and a route to take when rebooting the series. That's the choice. It sounds like he's
secretly trying to seem not racist about being mad that she's black.
Yeah, that's kind of sounds like this guy's comment, Foxwolf. It kind of says like I like it all, but why the black?
Why is she black?
She's the least. That's the least problem. That's my least.
That's the one
problem.
that I have the least problem with.
Yeah. Like they just say that she's a
like
street...
my problems with the April O'Neil character are Ghost Bat and Green Jacket.
Yeah, I want to know what the fuck is up with Ghost Bat there.
Yeah.
You know what these look like to me? These look like these. Could you imagine this being a spinoff of Danny Phantom?
That's kind of what it looks like. It looks like that shitty design.
It looks like Danny Phantom now you're saying the Ghost Bat.
Yeah.
I'm like, she looks like she could have been in Danny Phantom, the show.
Yeah.
Like, she looks ripped straight from that design. That's actually really funny. The Ghost Bat.
That's what it looks like.
That's what I think.
Is she also Casey Jones, too? Like, why is she using sports equipment?
I don't know. I don't know what. I'm kind of terrified as to what they might do with Casey Jones.
Maybe instead of April O'Neil, she's April Jones, and they just mash those two characters together.
Maybe. You should have just called this Son of TMNT or something shitty like that, because
then everybody would know to avoid it.
I don't know what the fuck. I'm just not happy with these design choices.
Yeah, they're bad.
They just are not good. I'm just irritated about a lot of things about this, but Jesus, holy God. Whew.
Also for that guy that made that comment, I know he's never going to see this fucking video, but if you ever do, they had a disabled cartoon character at Burger King called Wheels.
I remember Wheels.
Yeah.
I remember Wheels.
Yeah. Yeah, he kind of disappeared. Nobody was really that big into the Burger King Kids Club.
Yeah, but I barely remember that. But it's like, I mean, did you need to? I mean, why don't you make her physically disabled, LGBT, or even Muslim, Jewish, or Buddhist? Again, not saying she shouldn't be black, but it just feels like it's too easy in a route to take when rebooting a series. That's such a... His first part was like, okay, I mean, he's looking at the positive side of it, but then he just goes on to this thing about, well, why'd you make her black? Who fucking cares?
Like, why is that the problem? Look at everything else, but he also liked the design, so that just tells me that this guy's a fucking idiot.
And then someone put Transmorpher DDS my hope is that it is a reference to the original comic series. One of the creators, I think it was Eastman, don't quote me on that, actually based April's look on a woman he was dating at the time, and she was of mixed heritage. So from the beginning, April was at least half black. So in some ways, having a black April feels a bit like how Baxter Stockman is now black as well, despite being whitewashed in the 80s version. Well, Baxter Stockman was originally a black character, but then they made him black in the 2002 version. They made him white in the 80s version, yes. But they went back and made him black, so I don't really get that. But yeah. I never heard that story about that April O'Neil was based off of mixed race. I mean, but it was a black and white comic, so I mean, you couldn't really
tell. Yeah.
You really couldn't tell back then. But I don't know. I don't know. I highly doubt that is the throwback to it.
Yeah, I that might be true, but I don't think that's why they redesigned her.
I don't think that's why they redesigned her. Too.
I mean, they clearly redesigned everybody, and they're like, hey, how can we make them look as shitty as possible? Like, you know what I hate? I hate when they do this kind of shit and the designs look awful, and they do a racial swap or a gender swap of a character to try and completely reboot that character, because they take away from that process by giving it a fucking god awful design wise, like a god awful look.
It's no, does not work for me. We'll check out the show. So when the show comes out, I will let you know. I might do. What do you think? You think I should do an individual review of the show?
Yeah, because I'm not gonna fucking watch it. It looks like shit.
You said that about the 2012 version.
I still haven't looked at it.
I know, but you know how much I love that show.
I know. I believe you too, but I'm not interested in ever watching that because it looks like fucking shit.
They make all the characters on that show great. Okay. Oh, okay. How much more of this shit do we have to do, Adam? How much more of this angry train? Because I'm already burning out on angry.
I think
one more.
I think there's just one more. Yeah.
One more. Black Panther comes out in about, I believe it is 13 days from this day. I think it comes out on the 17th. Am I right on that? I believe it's 2 weeks from now.
It's. I thought it comes out on the 16th. Doesn't it come out on a Thursday?
Well, it comes out on a Friday, but they release it a day early, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it comes out on the 16th, but I don't think its official release is technically until the 17th. So, Black Panther's coming out, and we cannot address how much we're really excited for Black Panther. Black Panther looks dope.
Yeah, it does.
As hell.
Yeah, it does.
And from early reviews, it is dope as hell.
Yeah.
Some people are saying it's the best movie since Civil War, and that's not a bad thing. Civil War was incredible. They say that they do such great world building with Wakanda. The characters are great. The villain Killmonger is supposed to be really good, even though he was kind of the
like the wild card.
He was kind of the wild card that I was kind of like, Michael B. Jordan's great. Killmonger to me looked like literally Ironmonger from Iron Man 1, where it was just, hey, you're coming in to take my place that I deserve, so I'm going to make another version of the same suit you made to combat you, and I'm going to call it the Ironmonger. But in Killmonger's case, his just name is Killmonger, who he gets a Black Panther suit to take the place of... Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It seemed like that's where it was. But apparently, even though I don't know the plot of it, it doesn't seem like they're going that route. They just say that Killmonger's great. Claw, who's played by Andy Serkis, is supposedly really good. The characters are all
he's back
to be...
again. He's been in two other...
He was in Age of Ultron.
Yeah, he had a bit part.
Yeah. He had a little mini part where Ultron cuts off his arm. And he's supposedly really good in that movie. And apparently, like, what I was hearing is that the women in the movie just kicked a whole bunch of ass. Like, all the bodyguards, I think, is great. All the bodyguards are, like, these really fucking badass-looking women who just look like they could just fucking rip me apart in, like, 5 minutes. And let's not try to, hide an elephant in the room that this is a big, important film for the black community, black superheroes, or just straight up black-led films, because this seems to be one that's hitting all groups, all minorities, everything.
Think about the last black superhero movie that came out.
Blade 2.
I was going to say that really kicked ass.
Yeah, Blade 2.
I didn't like Blade 2.
Ooh, what?
I was going to say Blade 1.
Blade 1 and Blade 2 are so good. Blade 3. Ooh. And then the Blade TV show, even worse. But, no, I like Blade 2. But we were gonna pretty much say Blade, right?
Yeah, we were gonna say Blade. Blade was the last,
and Blade was really important. But,
which is also another Marvel property.
Yeah, which is another Marvel property. And I think that, you're seeing people going like, Octavia Spencer wants to buy out a theater just so that she can send black school students to go see Black Panther for free.
Yeah,
and so many people are rallying behind this movie because this is a very culturally important movie.
Yeah.
That, this could see a changing shift in these big budget movies with, besides Martin Freeman and Andy Serkis, I don't think there's really any white people in this movie.
You might see Cap.
You might, but for the most part, this is majority black led.
Yeah.
And that's great. I wish they would do that. I hope that the success with this and with the success of Wonder Woman, it was the turning tides for these not white-led movies. Star Wars seems to be doing that very much so with getting
more female
and more ethnicities in there. So Disney seems to be doing most of the heavy lifting, I think, on this part, because then now they have Black Panther. They did all with the Star Wars films. They've been trying to get more ethnicity in there, and then they got Miss Marvel coming out next year.
Yeah,
which that could be the final kick to say, like, female-led movies should not be shunned. Should not be approached with such risk. Like, oh, we don't know if people will go see it because it's female-led. Oh, we don't know if people are going to go see this because it's black-led. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing. Like, when they make those kind of claims about superhero movies, people, especially ones in a connected, shared universe like the Marvel films or the DC films, even though I'm not a big fan of the DC films, people are going to go see them because they're part of this interconnected universe, regardless of who the main character is.
True, but at the same time, I'll just throw a little bit of a defense in there to say that people went and saw Wonder Woman but did not go and see Justice League. So...
yeah, but that's because the DC film universe sucks balls.
It's definitely not well liked by a lot of people, but Wonder Woman came out that same year, and then Justice League came out with Wonder Woman, and it did not do as well. And people thought, well, Wonder Woman's in it. That should be some momentum. People just want Wonder Woman 2. And I guess they're going to actually they're getting Wonder Woman 2 with Patty Jenkins directing again. But Black Panther looks great, and it's just importance of doing well is an understatement. Like, if this failed, like, let's just say it won't. Let's just get this out. It's not going to fail, but let's just say the rare chance that it flopped. Stupid, but let's just say it. That would make some companies hesitant to do another film like this.
Yeah. Unlike
if this was an all-white led film, well, it's just another movie. Fuck it. This project doesn't work. 100%.
I see what you're... I mean, I agree with what you're saying. There's like a lot of weight for the black community on the shoulders of the actors and the people who created this film.
And like the directors made movies like
and it shouldn't be that way.
He did Creed, and those are like really well made movies.
Yeah.
But he even says like, this is one of like the most important movies I've made. This is a very personal movie for me.
Yeah.
And like all the actors are saying the same thing. Like, there's a lot riding on this movie. Now my problem is this isn't an angry rant about the movie. We're both super excited.
Both super excited. Like, this is the first time. I'm not going to go see it on opening night because I'm not going to be available then.
You're not available because we were going to go see it, but I'm going to have to.
This is the first movie that I've considered going to see on opening night since... when was the last time?
What, Spider-Man?
I think yeah, but I only went and saw that on opening night because it was my fucking birthday party.
What about Doctor Strange?
Nope, didn't see that on opening night.
Civil War?
Nope.
I don't think you... Then I don't know anyone that you wanted to see on opening.
That's what I mean. It's been a long time. Maybe Winter Soldier might have been the last one.
Yeah, Winter Soldier's my favorite one. So what the angry train is kind of talking about right now is the bullshit of just assholes who are just fucking, well, assholes who are trying to like downvote the movie. There's a Facebook group invite. Obviously, I just read about it, but it said like DC fans are gonna go and audience rate down Black Panther because it's not a DC movie. And to me, that just sounds like a bunch of little whiny bitches complaining about a movie doing better than their fucking Justice League movie that didn't do well. But one, it comes off as petty, and two, it also has proven to me how useless the fucking audience rating is on Rotten Tomatoes, that if they're going to allow something like that to happen.
And here's the thing, and I might have said this before on the show, but I have been saying this for quite some time, is that they need to give you a code, a barcode, a number code on your ticket stub. If you want to leave a review, you need that code.
Yeah.
And once it's used, you can't
do it again.
Can't post another one.
Yeah, because it's just the Wild West there. You can just do whatever the fuck you want.
Yep.
And this just proves that bullshit. Remember how we were talking about long ago about, oh, well, why is audience rater doesn't like Last Jedi? Whenever that came out, like, why is it so high on the audience, or low on the audience, but high on the critics? Clearly, the audience doesn't like it. Well, I was like, well, no one can monitor the audience. You can just go on there and post as much as you want. So that just clearly shows that I just get worried that you're going to see this really well-reviewed Black Panther and then just see this really negative, rotten, because some assholes are getting together to...
I don't think it's just DC fans.
No, I don't think so. That's another part, is that there was an alt-right group who was just trolling the movie nonstop and on Facebook, and Facebook shut them down.
Because they can't... This is what's so crazy. Okay, so these like white supremacists think that they're like the best, they're the supreme, they're the master race. And they can't handle a black-led film being out there because...
Well, you ever...
Because why? Because it's a black-led film?
Yeah.
Like, if you're so supreme, just stand back and let it happen. You're going to win anyways, right?
Yeah, well, I guess, but... Yeah,
but they're not, because it's fucking bullshit.
You know what? Because, you know I've talked about him multiple times on here, but John Campia is a movie podcaster that I listen to nonstop. And he gets he does mostly all viewer questions. Mm-hmm. He'll do a couple topics, but most of the time he gets people writing in live on the show. And so he'll read them. And a lot of people go like, well, why is all this SJW crap going on in Hollywood? It's like, SJW shit? Like, what SJW shit? Everything in the majority of films is all white male led. And when one thing comes out, like with the Ghostbusters remake that they did, like that was just a bad movie. I never watched it, but that movie looked bad. And, and I heard it was bad.
Yeah, I heard that the jokes were fucking terrible.
But people going, it's an SJW attempt. It's like,
no, not really.
He says.
What made me not excited for that film was the fact that the jokes were fucking terrible.
It looked bad.
Yeah.
But they say, why are you bringing SJW into Star Wars? Why are you bringing SJW into my Marvel movies? Why are you bringing SJW into...
It's not your fucking Marvel movies.
It's not your thing to begin with. And when this is what John Campbell says, and it's perfect. It says, when you start attributing SJW labels to things, and that those movies have agendas, they don't have the agenda. You have the agenda. If you're bringing SJW agenda shit into it, you're the one that has an agenda.
Yeah.
Because you've clearly got to look at yourself in the mirror and say, why does this bother me so much? And these people who have a problem with Black Panther or Wonder Woman or the fact that Rey is a female-led Star Wars film, I love when people say that it's a feminist agenda in the Star Wars community because the last 3 movies have all been female-led. Well, what the fuck? The first 6 were male-led.
Yep.
No one gave a shit about it then. Why? Because it's the standard. It's the norm that a white male-led film should be in there. And I just think it's ridiculous. Black Panther looks awesome, but I'm not going to try to sit there and say that there's not an elephant in the room to say that there isn't a lot riding on Black Panther for the community. And so I think a lot of the community are supporting it and saying, yes, this looks like a great movie.
It does look like a fucking great movie.
This should be widely done.
And I can't tell you, there's so many there's so many things that they could do with this film to reflect real life in ways as well. Yeah, that would be beneficial to the Black community. But I mean, I don't know where it's going to go.
I don't know where it's going to go either.
I haven't seen it yet, but I'm looking forward to it, and I probably won't be not pleased.
You'll see it the weekend.
Oh yeah,
you'll see it opening weekend.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go that Friday night.
Yeah, I'm trying to get I'm trying to find tickets to go. I'm just trying to
because that's something that I want to talk about like right away as soon as we can on the show.
Yeah, I mean, when are you seeing it? Saturday?
No, I mean if I have to see it Saturday, I'll see it before we do the show. I'll do it during the day, but I'd prefer to see it Friday.
Yeah, if you saw it on Friday, that'd be awesome. Then we could talk about it on that Saturday, or we'd have to push the show to Sunday and we could talk about it. But we hope Black Panther is. I hope it's as good as everyone says it is because it looks amazing and I'm really excited for it. So, Adam, you got anything else you want to just throw on there? Anything else you want to add before we go on to the next topic?
No, I just love seeing crybaby white people.
Yeah, crybaby white people are they're fun to mock.
Yeah, they are because they're a fucking joke and they make themselves a joke.
They do. I mean, like, I don't know.
They're like everybody.
I think maybe just because I was raised this way, I just don't understand why why white people think that they're so important. I've never understood why I just never got it why somebody's different because someone's not the same as you because they don't look like you. I never got that concept.
This isn't something we normally talk about in the show, but I think a lot of that falls into the education system and what is taught and how it's taught.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, it's a whole different thing. It's just also, I think a majority is just how you're raised. When you're raised, it's really hard, I think, for somebody to come out. If they're taught to hate someone because they look different, it's really hard to talk someone out of that.
It's also, like, I'm not particularly fond of white people in general, because when I was growing up, I lived, like, a block away from a housing project. A lot of my friends growing up were black or Native American or, Mexican. Like, they were different colored people.
Mm-hmm.
And growing up, like, I had lots of black friends and I had white friends too. And anytime that I got stabbed in the back or somebody like fucked me over, it was always one of my white friends. So I don't feel like I have a prejudice against white people. Like, I still treat them as human beings. But I think a lot of people, it depends on what kind of situation you're raised in. Like, the more diversity you have around you, the more okay you're going to be with things being different.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of these people were raised in a very, very small world.
Okay. I think that's fair enough to say. Yeah. We'll leave it off on that. Okay, Adam. Going to the next topic. We're done with the angry rants. I'm done.
Yeah,
We're done.
We're good.
We're angry. Now it's time to go for something a little more lighthearted and a little bit more fun, which is Ant-Man and the Wasp. Have you seen the trailer yet?
No.
No, you haven't. I've seen it a couple times. We are going to take our short little typical break. We're going to watch the trailer, and then we're going to come back and let everybody know exactly what we think of it, all right?
All right.
All right. We'll see you back in a couple seconds. And we're back. Adam, we just watched the Ant-Man versus the Wasp. Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
Not versus the Wasp. Ant-Man and the Wasp trailer. Your thoughts? What things stuck out to you that you liked about the trailer?
I mean, it looked good. It looks like it's going to be another heist type movie, which is good. I thought that worked well for the first one.
I thought so too. Did anything stand out, like cool looking wise?
I mean, it looked like the natural progression of that franchise, I guess. I wouldn't say anything blew my mind. Like, I liked the part where he shrank the whole office building and just rolled it away like it was luggage. But
I really like the trailer. I think the music's kind of wonky, but
I think it's supposed to sound kind of like hokey 1950s shit.
It definitely seemed that way because, I mean, even the way the logo comes up is like super cheesy looking. I love Ant-Man a lot. I really love the first Ant-Man. It's probably in my top Marvel films. Might be 5 or 6 favorite. I really like that movie. Everything.
So it's not one of Bobby Roosen's top 5.
Not one of my top 5s at least. I might have to make that list very soon. If you ever fucking watched all my films, I could redo them and see what I think is the best. But it might be a top 5 for me. I don't know. I think the trailer is just good. I mean, it seems more like a teaser more so than because it doesn't really talk about the plot. Lawrence Fishburne's in there randomly
for like 3 seconds.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he's the bad guy, and then let's show the bad guy look like something out of Destiny. Did you see the one?
No, I didn't see that.
Did you see there was an image of a guy that had like a white face with a couple like red dots on his eyes? Looked like something out of Destiny 2, which is weird. Yeah.
I hope this isn't a crossover event.
I highly doubt it. I hope to God no. So apparently this movie takes place before Infinity War. So this is one of the first movies. It seems like
boom. I called that one.
What?
I called that one.
How so?
Do you remember how? Because it's coming after Infinity War, isn't it?
It comes out after Infinity War, but it takes place before Infinity War.
And remember, that's exactly what I said. It's going to be something that happens before Infinity War, and the end of it's going to be him getting pulled into the Infinity War.
Most likely.
Yeah, I called it. I'm just saying.
This, it looks like the plot takes place right after Civil War, where he escapes. And now he's on the run from, I guess, it looks
Yeah,
like
it looks
the
the
FBI.
FBI.
I don't really understand that. I mean, but Evangeline Lilly looks like she's going to be kicking a whole bunch of asses. The Wasp. The knife scene looks really cool. The little part where they shrunk as the car and then flew the car over, and then the Pez dispenser. I just like what they do with these like shrinking and getting big. Like
they make it comedic. I mean, that's what it is. It's a comedic heist movie. That's what the first one was.
Yeah, and I really hope that it says
that they kept with that style.
Yeah. Because everything about the first Ant-Man just works for me, and so I'm really happy about, mostly about...
You want to know what's weird? You don't hear about any plots from the DC Universe fans or the alt-right talking about downvoting Ant-Man, do you?
No, you
weird.
don't.
Weird. Does that really expose the motivations of downvoting Black Panther?
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder.
Yeah, I don't hear people talking about let's downvote Infinity War or
let's downvote. Well, they probably will downvote Infinity War, but you don't hear anybody else talking about Ant-Man.
Get a life. Get a life, you fucking babies.
Or maybe just like start being a fan of a franchise that's better.
Yeah. It's
not even about fanboyism. I mean, like, I would love for the DC Universe to not be bad, but can't get everything you want.
Yeah, can't go. The Rolling Stones said it best. You can't always get what you want. Okay, Adam, we're going into our game news now. We have a couple topics to cover, but this one's kind of a newer one that a lot of people weren't really talking about, and now it's getting a little bit more of a line, or a little bit more of a front page stuff.
Yeah.
At least in gaming news. That King of Kong's Billy Mitchell is getting kicked off the Donkey Kong leaderboard for allegedly playing on a MAME and not real hardware on a lot of his things. And this is all coming to fruition because of a guy named Todd Rogers, who originally had the high score in a game on the Atari called Dragster. And a lot of people were, one guy who was a speedrunner was looking into Dragster.
Yeah.
And seeing if he can break a couple of these world records. And he was taking apart like the game. It's a lot more technical than I'm really comfortable talking about because I just don't know about the technicality parts.
Speedrunners kind of analyze what the game physics do, what this does.
What it can be done.
Yeah.
And they were looking at some of this score and he was like, I don't think that these scores are legit. Like, these top high scores don't even seem possible. And then when you look at some of the top scores... it says long-standing video game record declared impossible and thrown out. And then they started looking into a lot of his other records. And they were just like, none of these add up that he could get these scores. And back then, this was 35 years ago. And I mean, no one took video game scores seriously. They probably just were like, Twin Galaxies getting a lot of heat for this right now. I mean, are you familiar with Twin Galaxies?
No.
Twin Galaxies is kind of the gatekeepers, as you would maybe put it, like of all the high scores. Twin Galaxies is like this huge arcade.
They're like the Guinness World Records book for video games high scores.
And there's a documentary called King of Kong Fistful of Quarters with I think his name's Steve Wiebe or something like that. I forget. Oh man, he seemed like such a nice guy too, but mostly going after Billy Mitchell's score on Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
And he beats the score, and then Billy Mitchell like submits like a tape, and it's just like they just go by off of his word because he's like this big celebrity. He's the one who has the highest score in like Pac-Man and all that stuff. And now they're throwing out his stuff. They're going back because they're getting all this flack about their high scores and whether or not these scores are legit,
or possible on the legitimate hardware.
On legitimate hardware. And it's really funny because Billy Mitchell comes off as such an asshole in that movie. I don't know him personally, nor will I probably ever know him personally. But, I mean, he comes off as very pompous.
Yeah.
And I think it's just really depressing that these guys, their claim to fame are these high scores in these games to the point where they might have to be cheating to make sure that they keep their title because better and younger people are coming in and beating them.
Yeah.
But apparently Todd Rogers has multiple top scores in like that, and has in like Centipede and in like other like Crazy Taxi, stuff like weird Journey Escape, stuff like that. Gorf. And Billy Mitchell has a lot of the more like mainstream ones that have never been topped, and a lot of people don't think they could be topped. But yeah, apparently a lot of his scores are, I'm sure they're going to start going into all these games and start throwing shit out, because this stuff was recorded 35 years ago.
Yeah.
Back then when they were just like, that guy got a high score. He says he got this score on here. All we had was a Polaroid, and how we don't know if he could have forged that thing or anything like that. So yeah, we'll classify it. And so now Twin Galaxy is getting kind of hit pretty hard with people just saying,
this guy's a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
That's a little weird. You got to think though, like there's still people like that. Just because it was back in the day doesn't mean that there aren't people like that now. I mean, you got people that use aimbots and first-person shooters online, and that kind of shit.
Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot of people are just saying like MAME scores have a different means of verification to ensure that save states, pauses, and replay splices aren't used. As a result, any score that is a MAME that does not fit these adjudication, I don't even know what that adjudication standards must be disqualified. That's what a lot of these people are saying. It's like you can't. I mean, there are some that Billy Mitchell himself has actually like done in person, but he hasn't done in person game scores in a long, long time. It says like most of Billy's points in his direct feed games come from blue barrel smashes. This is of course with Donkey Kong. These are completely RNG based, yet somehow his averages are way above the mean. And they're just sitting there saying like some of these scores just don't fucking make sense. And then like some of them, unless you actually see him playing it and the machine is being analyzed, you can't verify it. And so I just think it's kind of funny that now people are starting to take these games and actually are getting rid of their top high scores because there's no proof that these people made these scores, because the way it was handled was just very poorly, and that's a big part on Twin Galaxy's part, because they're the ones who sit there and say that they are the most legitimate, they're the most credible, and they are still considered the most credible, but up to a certain point, 35 years ago, they did not give a shit about the high score of a fucking toy.
Yeah.
They just didn't, and these are
important
now.
To be honest, they shouldn't be that important now, but...
Well, they are, though.
But the best way to verify this shit is to have Twin Galaxy have its own hardware and make them play it live.
Yeah. That's how you
should. Other people.
Yeah. I mean, it's too much of a digital age now where you can just fix anything on doing it
video
at your home.
editing, hacking the game. I mean, there's so many ways to get around this shit.
Yeah, I mean, there's right in, because we're based in Pittsburgh here, and there's a little a suburb called Carnegie. They have a pinball championship. They have a big pinball machine tournament thing that they invite people to come and try to once a year try to break the record on certain machines.
Yeah.
And if you can break one of the records, then you get a lifetime pass there. But, you get twice a year, I think they let the public come in and try to play for high scores. And I guess that's almost, I think, what they need to do now with these games. Those games are tough, but I just think it's really interesting that they are finally getting rid of some of these scores that can't be proven live. And I think Billy Mitchell, especially because he's just someone who kind of deserves, knocked on his ass for being just this overconfident asshole, and to find out that you're possibly cheating to keep a record in Donkey Kong is pretty fucking depressing.
Yeah.
I think that is such a loser mentality that you have to cheat to keep your Donkey Kong score. Oh, fucking damn it. What a piece of shit. I think that's so stupid.
Yeah, I would agree.
Especially whenever you don't even make up scores that are legit. You make up scores that are just so astronomically high that no one would even look into them at the time. I think that's even funnier. Okay, Adam. Oh, we're back at it again. We're doing it again, aren't we? Loot boxes.
Again?
They're coming back. again,
How are they coming back?
EA is re-implementing, as they said they would. They said that they would implement the
In Battlefront 2?
Battlefront 2. They got hit really hard last time with Battlefront 2. One of the guys, CEO Andrew Wilson said that microtransactions aren't going anywhere, as that might be as kind of controversial it is. That's kind of their fault. They said they called Battlefront 2 a learning opportunity, so perhaps we can expect less aggressive microtransactions in the future.
That's besides the point.
Yeah.
We don't want them at all.
Yeah.
If your DLC doesn't add like actual substantive content to the game, then we don't fucking want your shit.
Yeah, I know, but it sucks because it says EA has no reason to drop microtransactions. In fact, they would probably be sued by investors if they tried, because according
they fucked themselves.
They did. They
really fucked themselves so hard.
According to
they
the
took
latest...
the Great American Challenge and rammed it up their own ass.
Yeah. According to the company's latest financial reports, so-called live services account for most of its income, with total revenue of $1.23 billion in the last quarter. A whopping $787 million of that comes from live services. Only $260 million came from full game sales. And
I got a topic that ties into this.
EA might not mind so much that the sales of Battlefront 2 have been slow when it comes to most of its revenue, but will come heavy players once it's saying will come from heavy players once transactions are put back in. This is
I mean, we saw this coming.
I mean, they said it was gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't know. Are you talking about Anthem at all throughout this show?
I'm not talking about Anthem.
Okay. All right. Well, this is also gonna, because that game, I guess, is in like a minor period of development hell right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it got pushed back. The employees are complaining that EA is being unreasonable with what they're demanding, and they're worried about the fans, and microtransactions being involved and all this other shit. And basically, it sounds like it's going to be a piece of shit game.
Oh, is it? They're just going to fuck it over?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you this. EA already said that if Anthem doesn't sell well, because BioWare fucked up the last Mass Effect, they're gone.
That BioWare's done?
BioWare will be dissolved.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so just
bad.
prepare for Anthem to be a shitty game with microtransactions in it, courtesy of EA, and then when it doesn't sell well because EA pushed it out the door too early and EA forced them to have microtransactions and nobody likes that,
These microtransactions...
EA will kill BioWare.
Yeah, when's EA just going to get fucking killed?
Hopefully soon.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys think what studios they have left? Fucking DICE. Is DICE gonna make all their fucking games?
I know, and
DICE fucked up Battlefront too.
DICE didn't fuck up shit, but DICE is not the problem with Battlefront. The problem is fucking
DICE made it.
Yeah, but EA's the one who forced them to put the damn transactions in there.
Doesn't matter.
And they built the game around these fucking microtransactions, and then we took them out. They just made the game a fucking mess. And it's not good. The whole entire thing is just one big giant shit show. And I can't believe they make that much money from microtransactions.
Basically, EA is holding a minigun with two hands and then shooting directly at its feet.
I can't.
And then it's going, why can't I walk?
Yeah, I mean they are. They're single-handedly like destroying the industry. Like they're
not going to destroy the industry, but they're going to destroy Activision and EA are going to be fucking nobodies very soon.
If they don't get their shit back.
I think they're going to get themselves into a point where they're not going to recover.
Yeah,
uh-huh.
I mean the controversy with EA was like going back to it was mostly that. They just were making the grinding ridiculously high so that you would just say fuck it and buy the microtransactions that never guaranteed you anything.
Yeah.
And now a lot of these European countries are looking into making sure that if you're going to put microtransactions in your game, you need to let people know what the percentage of possibly getting something is. That's the one thing, though, that Overwatch always has done with their with their loot boxes. Even though theirs are strictly cosmetic, they give you a percentage of what's the likelihood of you getting this item.
This item, yeah. And here's what's going to happen. They're going to have to reveal what the percentage was.
Yo, and
that's gonna fuck them even harder.
They'll lie. They'll fudge that shit. They're not gonna actually put what the percentage was, because it was probably like one in like 500 chances that you're gonna get like.
It's probably slimmer than that.
You think?
I think we're into the single digit percentages.
1 in 1,000.
Probably.
Whew, that'd be so fucking. Oh, that's so fucked. Oh, EA, you are just a fucking asshole of a company. I mean, I knew that they said that the microtransactions aren't going away, but let's just erase them so that people will buy our game and think that, Battlefront 2's done. It's done. No one talks about it. And people would still be talking about it with its DLC if, they didn't fuck it over so goddamn bad.
Yep.
What a fuck.
You gotta think about this, but the only reason people are talking about Destiny 2 is because it's fucking terrible. It's a terrible state.
It's the only reason why we bring it up.
Yep. We don't play it. I don't really know anybody that plays it anymore. You gotta think about, that. Battlefront 2, nobody's ever talked about Battlefront 2 in a positive light. At least Destiny, when it first came out.
Except its graphics, that's about it.
What, in Destiny?
No.
Battlefront 2, yeah. In Destiny, there were some positives when it first came out. A lot of people gave it high ratings, and then after discovering some more of the shady shit about it, like people like Jim Sterling went back and changed his rating for the game. He originally gave it an 8 out of 10 for Destiny 2, and then after finding out more about it, dropped it, I think, to like a 4 or 5.
Oh, jeez, he really fucked that over.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Jesus. EA. Whew. Man, you just are the most hated company ever. All right, Adam, we're going to go on to our last topic of the day, which is Capcom sales have dipped, but profits are on the rise thanks to digital business. Is this, as Prince would say, the sign o' the times?
I hope not. I'm not interested in buying digital only games.
Yeah, it says sales for the last 9 months were reported as $439 million, which is an 11% decrease when compared to the same time frame in 2016. And we've also said that we thought that 2017 was one of the best years for games, and including with Capcom. I thought Capcom released some great games last year.
Yeah. I think it did okay.
During which sales were cited at $492 million in 2016 for Capcom. Profits, meanwhile, were $65 million in 2017, which is a 38% increase over 2016's $47 million. And they attribute most of that to digital sales. So, I mean, what do you think is up with this, Adam? Why do you think that people are kind of... I guess it's more... People are just going more towards the digital sales, and
I can tell you why.
Okay, go ahead. You go your reason. I'll tell you what I think my reason.
There's a lot of stuff that I get digital because it's just so ridiculously more cheaper than getting a.
Do you have any examples of something, like, just so I could, like, as a frame of reference?
Like, instead of buying even a used copy of GTA 5, whenever I had sold my copy of GTA 5 to somebody else and I wanted to play it again, so I bought it on the PSN digitally. Because...
And you got 2 games.
Yeah, I got that and San Andreas, I'm pretty
sure. Which is a $20 game on its own.
Yeah. So I got both of those for like $18. I think it was on PSN sale. Like, it was on a PlayStation sale, and then it also had an additional PlayStation Plus discount. So I got that pretty cheap. I think it was $18. It might have been $20 or $24, but... that was about $20 cheaper than I could have got it used.
Yeah.
In a physical copy.
I think people with used sales, we could almost do a whole topic of this. Maybe we'll go on to it next week, about how used sales just aren't bringing in the revenue, I think, that like they once were, because people aren't realizing that they're not what you're saying are not competing digital sales with their used sales. And
yeah, the prices aren't matching up.
no.
There's times where I've seen a physical hard copy of something at like GameStop or Toys R Us or whatever, and it'd be like $9.99. It was like on a super low sale, and then you go on the PSN to look at it, and it's still $59.99. You're like, what? These don't match up, and then it happens in the reverse as well. So I think that's part of it. Like, you got to think with digital sales. Impulse buying is going to be more common because the prices are going to be lower. You don't have to leave your house. You don't have to leave your couch even.
Yeah, you don't have to. Yeah, you could be ingrained into your couch.
Yeah.
And never have to leave the house to buy a game again.
Second, we got to look at. I mean, my biggest negative with digital sales isn't not owning a physical product. What it is forgetting that you completely have the game. I have over 245 games on Steam. I couldn't tell you what 99% of them are. I don't remember because
you just click them. You just buy them real quick because they're so cheap.
Well, and I'm talking about games that I've played too. Most of them probably even to completion a little bit. And yeah, I just don't remember what they are. You know what I remember I have on Steam? Counter-Strike, because it's the only fucking thing that I ever play when I go on my PC.
Yeah. You want to know what my reasoning why I think that digital sales are so high is? It's just the generation, the younger generation. We are not the majority of the game buyers now. I just don't believe so. Like us.
No. I agree
think
with
that younger people are just growing up with iPads. They're growing up with their mobile phone, and they don't have physical versions. They don't. They just know, oh, I can just get this game online. I can just buy it here. I just need to, like, they don't know. I don't want to say they don't know, but they're not accustomed to having to go to a store and buy a physical thing. They're just used to, oh, I'm just going to buy that. Yeah. Click a button.
Well, you know what?
They're used to the Amazon mentality of buy the button and it's at your house in a couple days, or buy it and it's immediately there to them.
Yeah, downloads in 20 minutes. Well, I mean, depending on your net connection, but...
or just them, they don't have the ability, and younger generation don't have the ability to drive as well. And parents just don't want to have to take them out there. And, so
that's true. Economically, less people are driving because less people can afford a vehicle.
Mm-hmm. So, well, I'm even meaning like younger kids, like young kids who can't even drive, literally can't drive. And they just, why hound my mom when I could just ask her to buy it for me on the system? Hey, Mom, can I use your credit card to buy this game? Buy it on the system. They're not accustomed to physical media like we are. And I think whenever we get old enough that physical media is just going to be gone because no one's buying physical media anymore. Look at shit like GameStop shutting a shitload of stores down. Toys R Us just announced their bankruptcy thing because kids aren't really going to toy stores anymore because they can look on Amazon and shit like that.
I mean, I think this goes to greater problems with the American economy at the moment as well. But I agree with you. I agree with the point you're making.
I'm just thinking that I think it is the sign of the times. I really honestly think. I think that we want our physical media because we're accustomed to having physical media and we like seeing what we purchased. And, you know,
like I couldn't, half the stuff that I get, even through PlayStation Plus, the free games, I couldn't tell you what they are.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what half of them are. Because they're just like free purchases or something like that, and I just grab them.
Just add them to your library, and that's it. And at some point, whenever they shut down the server for my PlayStation 3, I'm not going to be able to use all the shit that's on there that's digital. Yeah. Which is a ton of stuff. I have stuff from the Japanese PSN on my PS3, stuff.
And that's
from
the only thing.
PSN.
The only thing I dislike about the digital media form of it is that.
Licensing issues. As soon as the network goes down, are you going to be able to play it anymore?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You're like, no one's going to be able to play. Like, if we were all digital, you think I'd be able to play Super Noah's Ark 3D from the Super Nintendo days if it was all digital back then?
No, fuck no.
No, it wouldn't be available to me.
Exactly.
And that's kind of a scary, sad thing. Is how do you preserve these games? How do you preserve these relics if there's nothing to physically put them on?
This is entirely, subjective to somebody's viewpoint, but some of these would qualify, I think, as high art.
Yeah.
And we're not going to be able to save them.
Well, like, perfect example is Hellblade going to be available in any form 30 years down the road because it's a PS4 PC exclusive, only digital. Will anybody be able to play that?
Well, I think it is physical for the PS4.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
Oh, if it is, I want one then. But even so, then that's a bad example to use. But you get where I'm saying.
Yeah, but I mean, on the PC, you're right. What if Steam goes out of business? What happens?
What if one of my favorite?
What happens to my 245 games that I paid
What about
for?
Race the Sun? We'll go with that.
Yeah.
I love that game.
Yeah.
Will anybody be able to play Race the Sun, 40 years from now?
If the PlayStation Network just goes down. PlayStation goes out of money, goes bankrupt, has to shut their servers down. What happens then?
Unless it's downloaded onto
you
your
still
system,
paid for it.
Yeah.
You paid to own that game and to be able to use it.
Whenever I want.
Yeah. But because of the way the systems are set up, it's not gonna end that way.
Yeah, and that's kind of the scary part I'd like to just kind of throw out there is, what happens to these games once the physical media kind of goes away? And that's kind of the sad part about it. It's just we are the dinosaurs compared to these kids, because a lot of these people, like my cousins, like my younger cousins, they don't fucking have physical games. They maybe have like 2 physical games, and then the rest of it's all on their PS4 or their Xbox One. And I, whenever they see like all the games I have, they're like, "Holy crap, this is incredible!" I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, but
it's really not though, because you have a lot of the same stuff. You just don't know because you don't physically see it.
Yeah, you don't have it. Like exactly what you said. They have Grand Theft Auto,
but they don't remember it.
Yeah,
they haven't touched it in a year. I mean, how often do you do something and remember what you did a year later?
Not much. Like I can't tell you the games I bought like a year ago. Those PlayStation, those PS4 Plus games, some of them look so great. And I'm like, oh, I want that.
Add to my library.
Add them to my library. But I'm like, oh, shit, I've never played that game. I really should maybe go back and play it. Like, I still have, they went to the Rapture or something like that.
Everybody's gone to the Rapture?
Yeah, I still want to play that game. That's the only one that I still remember. I'm like, shit, I really need to fucking play that game. It's only like a 4-hour game. I really should just knock it out and just play the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, Adam, that is the end of the podcast, it seems, right?
Yeah.
That was a longer podcast, I think, because of all of our angry rant at the beginning of it, huh?
Yeah, the angry train.
The angry train. Holy shit. So, Adam, you want to let everybody know, like as always, where can they find us?
Right here at your house. No.
Online.
Facebook.com/GTAS podcast. And same thing, Twitter.com/GTAS podcast.
All right. Well.
And obviously, if you're watching this, it's from either an embedded YouTube video or a YouTube channel. So just follow that.
Just follow that link, because there's always the links at the bottom of the video. But just in case no one notices that, I do take the time to do like the time cards at the bottom every time. So
yeah, so if you want to skip a subject because it doesn't sound that interesting to you, you can do that.
Yeah, you can just go by the topic right at the little bottom. You just click the little beginning time spot, and it takes you right there. Technology, isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Technology is incredible, kids. Everybody should be listening.
I actually don't think you can do that on mobile though.
On
There's little time tags that'll take you to a specific
I
point
think
in the
you
video.
might be right, but I don't know. I'll have to test that out. Personally.
At least it doesn't work on mine, but my phone is like 5 years old. So.
Yeah, that might be a possibility. All right, everybody. Thank you again for listening to this edition of the Guys Talking About Shit podcast. Till next time, farewell.